Part 1, Whispers in the Sand. The desert does not forget. It holds memory like a wound, raw, aching, buried beneath layers of time and silence. The wind carries stories, half-formed and half-lost, whispered through dunes that shift like breath. And somewhere between the sun-scorched bones of forgotten cities and the silver hush of midnight, a girl walks alone. Her name is Liyana. She wears her past like a veil, thin, translucent, but impossible to remove. Her eyes are the color of storm-washed stone, and her skin bears the sun's kiss and the moon's secrets. She moves like someone taught to vanish, her steps soft, deliberate, as if afraid the earth might remember her. The caravan left her behind 3 days ago. Not by accident. She had known it was coming. The way the guards watched her too long. The way the merchant's wife clutched her amulet when Liyana passed. The way the sand itself seemed to recoil from her shadow. They feared her. Not for what she had done, but for what she might be. She walks now beneath a sky bruised with dusk, the horizon bleeding gold into violet. Her boots are cracked, her water skin nearly empty, but she does not stop. Not yet. Not until she reaches the city. Saphira. A place of myth and ruin, where the walls are carved with prayers and curses alike. Where the market never sleeps, and the dead are said to whisper from the catacombs beneath the streets. It is the only place left to her. The only place where secrets are currency, and shadows are welcome. She crests a dune and sees it, Saphira, sprawled like a mirage, its towers crooked against the sky, its gates yawning wide. The city breathes, alive with firelight and music, the scent of spice and smoke curling into the air. Liyana tightens the scarf around her face and descends. The guards at the gate do not stop her. They are too busy arguing over a game of bones and coin. She slips past, unnoticed, and enters the city like a ghost. The streets are narrow, winding, alive with color and sound. Lanterns swing from iron hooks, casting golden halos on the cobblestones. Merchants shout in a dozen tongues. Children dart between stalls. A man sings in a voice like honeyed smoke, and a woman dances with blades in her hands. But beneath it all, there is something else. A hum. A pulse. A presence. Magic. Old and restless, like something stirring in its sleep. Liyana feels it in her bones. She moves through the crowd, drawn toward the heart of the city, the bazaar. It is a labyrinth of silk and steel, of perfumes and poisons, of things that should not exist and things that should not be sold. She passes a stall of enchanted mirrors, another of cursed jewelry. A boy offers her a vial of bottled moonlight. She declines. She is not here to buy. She is here to find the woman with the ink-black eyes. The one who knows things. The one who might have answers. Liyana finds her in a tent draped in velvet the color of dried blood. The air inside is thick with incense and secrets. The woman sits behind a table carved from bone, her fingers adorned with rings that whisper when they move. You seek something, the woman says, without looking up. Liyana nods. Everyone does, the woman continues. But not everyone is willing to pay the price. I have nothing left, Liyana says. The woman's eyes lift. They are bottomless, ancient, and cruel. Then you are ready. She gestures, and the tent darkens. The air grows cold. The candles flicker, then die. A hush falls, heavy and absolute. The woman reaches beneath the table and draws out a scroll. It is old. The parchment brittle, the ink faded. She unrolls it slowly. Symbols twist across the surface, strange, shifting, alive. This is a map, the woman says. But not of places. Of truths. Liyana leans closer. The symbols shimmer, rearrange. She sees a desert. A palace. A tomb. She sees herself. And someone else. A boy with eyes like firelight and a smile made of ruin. She jerks back. What is this? She whispers. A warning, the woman says. And a promise. Liyana's heart stutters. She does not believe in fate. But she believes in danger. And this feels like both. The woman rolls the scroll and hands it to her. You must go east, she says. Beyond the dunes. Beyond the bones. To the place where the wind does not speak. What will I find there? The woman smiles. Your past. Your future. And the boy who will break your heart. Liyana leaves the tent with the scroll clutched in her hand. The city seems different now. Sharper. Hungrier. She walks until the streets thin, until the lanterns fade, until the walls give way to sand. She does not look back. The wind rises, whispering her name. And somewhere, far beyond the horizon, something begins to wake. A curse. A love. A story. And it is hers. Part 2, The Market of Shadows. Zafira does not sleep. By day, it dazzles. By night, it devours. The market pulses like a living thing, its veins lit by lanterns, its breath thick with smoke and song. Beneath the surface, beneath the laughter and the gold, there is something else. A hunger. A hush. 1,000 eyes watching from behind veils and curtains, from shadows that do not belong to anything living. Liyana moves through it like a whisper. She has not slept. The scroll burns in her satchel, its symbols shifting when she dares to look. She feels it in her blood, in her bones. A call. A warning. A promise. She does not know what she is searching for. Only that she must keep moving. The market twists around her, a maze of silk and steel. She passes a stall selling charms carved from bone, another offering spices that shimmer like crushed stars. A man beckons her with a smile too wide, too sharp. She ignores him. And then she sees him. Not clearly. Not yet. Just a flicker. A figure in the crowd, tall, cloaked, moving against the current. His presence cuts through the noise like a blade. The air shifts around him. People part. Not because they see him, but because something in them does. Liyana follows. She does not know why. Only that her feet move before her mind does. He turns down an alley, narrow and dark. She hesitates, then steps after him. The noise fades. The shadows deepen. The alley ends in a courtyard choked with vines and silence. The man stands in the center, his back to her, his cloak stirring in the wind. You shouldn't be here, he says. His voice is low. Rough. Like stone dragged across silk. I could say the same, she replies. He turns. And the world shifts. His eyes are gold. Not the gold of coin or sun, but the gold of fire. Of fury. Of something ancient and untamed. He looks at her like he knows her. Like he's seen her before. You carry the scroll, he says. She stiffens. How do you know? He steps closer. The shadows cling to him, reluctant to let go. I've seen it, he says. In dreams. In blood. In the ruins beneath the dunes. Liyana's heart stammers. Who are you? He smiles. And it is not kind. I am the one who will break your heart. She flinches. The words echo, too familiar, too soon. He reaches into his cloak and draws out a shard of obsidian, etched with symbols that match the scroll. You're not the only one searching, he says. But you may be the only one who survives. The wind rises. The courtyard trembles. And something stirs beneath the stones. A whisper. A warning. A promise. Liyana steps back. But the man does not follow. He turns and vanishes into the alley, leaving only the shard behind. She picks it up. It pulses in her hand. And the scroll shifts again. New symbols. New paths. A palace. A fire. A kiss. She does not understand. But she knows this, the journey has begun. And she is not alone. Not anymore. Part 3, The Desert Knows. The desert is not empty. It listens. It remembers. And tonight, it speaks. Liyana stands at the edge of Zafira, the scroll in her satchel and the obsidian shard pressed to her palm. The city behind her hums with secrets, but the sands ahead are silent. Not lifeless, never that. The dunes breathe. They shift. They watch. She steps forward. The wind rises, curling around her like a whisper. It carries scents of myrrh and ash, of something older than fire. Her boots sink into the sand, and with each step, the city fades. The stars sharpen. The silence deepens. She is not alone. She feels him before she sees him. The boy with gold eyes. He waits at the crest of a dune, his cloak billowing like smoke. He does not speak. He does not smile. But when she reaches him, he turns and begins to walk. She follows. They do not speak for hours. The desert stretches around them, vast and endless. The moon hangs low, silver and watchful. Shadows flicker at the edges of her vision, too fast, too quiet. Spirits, perhaps. Or memories. Finally, he speaks. There's a place, he says, where the wind forgets its name. Where the bones of kings sleep beneath the sand. Liyana glances at him. And we're going there? He nods. It's the first mark on the scroll. The beginning. She hesitates. What's your name? He does not answer. Instead, he stops. They stand before a ruin, half buried, half swallowed by time. Pillars rise from the sand like broken teeth. Symbols shimmer on the stone, shifting as she looks. This was once a temple, he says. To the god of silence. Liyana steps closer. The air thickens. She feels it, magic. Old. Bitter. Alive. Inside, the temple is dark. The walls pulse with forgotten prayers. The floor is littered with bones. Not human, not animal. Something else. Something that should not have lived. He kneels and presses the shard to the ground. The symbols on the scroll flare. A door opens. Not a physical one. A memory. Liyana gasps. She sees a woman, veiled, weeping, holding a blade made of moonlight. She sees a boy, laughing, bleeding, vanishing into smoke. She sees herself, standing at the edge of a cliff, the wind screaming her name. Then it fades. She stumbles back. What was that? A glimpse, he says. Of what was. Of what might be. She trembles. I didn't ask for this. He looks at her. No one does. They leave the temple as the sun begins to rise. The desert glows gold. And in the distance, a caravan winds through the dunes. He stiffens. They're looking for us. Who? The ones who fear what you carry. The ones who buried the truth. Liyana grips the scroll. The wind shifts. And the desert speaks. It says, run. Part 4, The Hidden Palace. The desert does not yield its secrets easily. It buries them beneath centuries of silence, beneath dunes that shift like memory, beneath ruins that whisper in tongues older than time. But tonight, the sands part. Not for mercy. For revelation. Liyana and the boy, whose name she still does not know, ride beneath a sky bruised with dusk. The caravan they glimpsed has vanished into the horizon, but the tension lingers like smoke. He watches the wind. She watches him. They do not speak of the temple. They do not speak of the vision. But both feel its weight. The scroll pulses in her satchel. The obsidian shard hums against her skin. And ahead, rising from the sands like a mirage, is the palace. It is not marked on any map. It should not exist. But it does. The gates are carved from black stone, etched with symbols that shimmer in moonlight. Guards stand like statues, their eyes veiled, their blades curved like crescent moons. They do not speak. They do not move. The boy dismounts. They'll let us pass, he says. How do you know? He does not answer. He walks forward. The guards part. Liyana follows. Inside, the palace is a labyrinth of silk and shadow. The walls breathe with incense and secrets. Music drifts from unseen rooms, low, haunting, threaded with sorrow. Servants move like ghosts, their faces hidden, their footsteps silent. She feels watched. Not by eyes. By something older. They are led to a chamber draped in crimson and gold. Pillows spill across the floor. Lanterns cast flickering halos. And at the center, on a throne carved from bone and obsidian, sits a woman. She is beautiful. Terrible. Her eyes are silver. Her smile is a blade. You brought her, the woman says. The boy bows. She carries the scroll. The woman's gaze turns to Liyana. You are late. Liyana stiffens. I didn't know I was expected. The woman laughs. It is not a kind sound. Fate does not wait for permission. She rises. Her robes trail like smoke. She circles Liyana, fingers trailing the air. You are marked, she says. By blood. By shadow. By choice. I didn't choose this. The woman stops. No one chooses the truth. It chooses them. She gestures. A servant brings a bowl of water. The woman dips her fingers. The water darkens. Images swirl, fire, sand, a kiss beneath a dying moon. Liyana gasps. She sees the boy. Not as he is. As he was. A prince. A traitor. A sacrifice. She stumbles back. The woman smiles. You see now. Liyana turns to him. You lied. He does not flinch. I didn't lie. I didn't tell. She trembles. What are you? He steps forward. Bound. Like you. The woman claps her hands. The lanterns dim. The walls shift. And a door opens. Not a door of wood or stone. A passage. Hidden. Forbidden. Go, the woman says. The next truth waits. Liyana hesitates. The boy offers his hand. She takes it. They step into the dark. The passage winds downward, deeper than the palace should go. The air grows cold. The walls pulse with magic. Symbols flare and fade. Whispers rise, soft, urgent, afraid. They reach a chamber. At its center, a mirror. Not glass. Water. Still. Black. Endless. The boy kneels. He presses the shard to the surface. The mirror ripples. And shows her a memory. Not hers. His. A girl. A promise. A betrayal. She sees herself. Not as she is. As she will be. She screams. The mirror shatters. The chamber trembles. And the scroll burns. New symbols. New paths. A fire. A moon. A choice. They flee the chamber as the palace groans. The woman waits. She does not smile. You've seen too much, she says. They needed to, the boy replies. She nods. Then the curse begins. Liyana clutches the scroll. The wind howls. And the palace begins to crumble. Part 5, The Bond of Fire and Moonlight. The desert does not forgive. It burns away illusion, strips flesh from truth, and leaves only what cannot be hidden. And tonight, beneath a sky torn between fire and moonlight, something begins, not with a word, but with a glance. Liyana and the boy, whose name she still does not know, ride through the ruins of the palace, its bones still smoldering behind them. The scroll has changed again. Symbols shimmer like embers, rearranging into a path that leads east, toward the Valley of the Forgotten. They do not speak of the mirror. They do not speak of the vision. But the silence between them is no longer empty. It hums. It aches. It waits. They make camp beneath a crescent moon, the fire casting long shadows across the sand. Liyana watches him from across the flames. His cloak is torn. His hands are stained with ash. But his eyes, those gold, impossible eyes, still burn. She speaks first. You knew what I'd see. He nods. I did. Why didn't you stop me? Because you needed to know. She studies him. You were a prince. He flinches. Once. And now? He meets her gaze. Now I am cursed. The fire crackles. The wind shifts. And the desert listens. He tells her then, of a kingdom swallowed by sand, of a betrayal carved into blood, of a love that ended with a blade. He speaks of the curse that binds him, of the scroll that marks his fate, of the prophecy that names her. You're the key, he says. To breaking it. Or becoming it. She does not know what to say. So she reaches out. Her fingers brush his. And the fire flares. Not with heat. With memory. She sees them, together, beneath a sky of falling stars. She sees a kiss that tastes of salt and sorrow. She sees a choice, his life or hers. She sees herself walking away. She gasps. He pulls back. But the bond is made. Not with words. With magic. With fate. They do not sleep. They lie beneath the stars, side by side, not touching, not speaking, but bound. And when dawn comes, the scroll reveals its next mark. A city carved into the cliffs. A tomb sealed with fire. A name. His name. Qasim. She whispers it. He closes his eyes. And the wind carries it away. They ride again. The desert shifts. The sun rises. And something follows. Not a caravan. Not a soldier. A shadow. Born of curse. Fed by love. It watches. It waits. It hungers. They reach the cliffs by nightfall. The city is silent. The tomb waits. And the bond between them burns. Not with heat. With promise. With danger. With love. Part 6, The Curse Unveiled. The tomb waits. It does not beckon. It does not threaten. It simply exists, silent, sealed, and steeped in the kind of magic that does not forget. Liyana stands before it, the scroll pulsing in her satchel, the obsidian shard warm against her skin. Qasim, no longer just the boy, but the prince cursed by blood and betrayal, watches the entrance with a gaze carved from memory. The city carved into the cliffs is abandoned. Not ruined. Preserved. As if time itself was afraid to touch it. They descend into the tomb. The air thickens. The walls breathe. Symbols shimmer across the stone, some familiar, some new, all dangerous. The scroll flares. The shard hums. And the curse begins to stir. It does not rise like smoke. It coils like a serpent. Liyana feels it first, a pressure behind her eyes, a whisper in her bones. Qasim stiffens. His breath catches. And the tomb groans. They reach the chamber. It is vast. Empty. Except for the altar. And the body. Not decayed. Preserved. A woman. Veiled. Beautiful. Terrible. Qasim kneels. She was the first, he says. The one who bound the curse. The one who chose silence over salvation. Liyana steps closer. The woman's eyes open. Not wide. Just enough. Enough to see. Enough to speak. Her voice is dust and thunder. You carry the scroll. Liyana nods. You carry the shard. She nods again. Then you carry the curse. The tomb trembles. The altar cracks. And the woman rises. Not fully. Just enough. She reaches for Liyana. Touches her forehead. And the truth floods in. A kingdom built on lies. A love forged in fire. A betrayal that split the stars. She sees Qasim, young, defiant, desperate. She sees herself, older, colder, broken. She sees the curse, woven through blood and bone, through prophecy and choice. She screams. The woman fades. The tomb collapses. They run. The scroll burns. New symbols. New paths. A caravan. A betrayal. A kiss. They escape into the night. The desert waits. The wind howls. And the curse follows. Not behind. Within. Liyana is no longer just marked. She is bound. And Qasim is no longer just cursed. He is hers. And she is his. For better. For ruin. Part 7, The Caravan of Secrets. The desert shifts. Not with wind, but with whispers. Liyana and Qasim ride beneath a sky bruised with dusk, the tomb behind them, the curse within them. The scroll has changed again, its symbols now etched in crimson, its path winding toward the caravan of secrets. It is said to appear only when summoned. Not by voice. By need. They find it at twilight. A procession of tents and wagons, cloaked in shadow and silk, winding through the dunes like a serpent. No banners. No flags. Only silence. Only eyes. The guards do not speak. They wear masks, gold, bone, obsidian. Each one different. Each one watching. Qasim dismounts first. He speaks a name. Not his. Not hers. A name that tastes of ash. The guards part. They are led into the heart of the caravan, a tent stitched from midnight and moonlight, its entrance guarded by twin statues of winged lions. Inside, the air is thick with incense and memory. A woman waits. She is old. Not in years. In weight. Her eyes are blind. But she sees. You carry the scroll, she says. Liyana nods. You carry the curse. She nods again. And you carry each other. Neither speaks. The woman smiles. Then you are ready. She gestures. Servants bring bowls of ink, shards of glass, feathers dipped in fire. The ritual begins, not to break the curse, but to reveal its shape. Liyana kneels. The woman paints symbols on her skin. Each one burns. Each one sings. Qasim watches. His hands tremble. His past rises. A brother. A blade. A promise broken. The woman turns to him. You must choose, she says. To protect her. Or to free her. He does not answer. The scroll flares. The tent trembles. And the caravan shifts. Allies emerge. Masked. Silent. A girl with knives hidden in her braids. A boy who speaks to spirits. An old man who remembers the stars. They join the journey. Not for gold. For truth. For vengeance. For love. But not all are loyal. One watches Liyana too closely. One whispers her name in sleep. One carries a blade meant for Qasim. The caravan moves. Through dunes that bleed. Through ruins that weep. Through storms that taste of salt and sorrow. And the scroll reveals its next mark. A city swallowed by sand. A blade forged from moonlight. A veil that hides more than faces. They ride toward it. Together. But not whole. Not yet. The wind rises. The stars dim. And the secrets begin to unravel. Part 8, The Tomb Beneath the Dunes. The sands do not sleep. They shift. They whisper. They remember. And beneath them, something stirs. The caravan of secrets has vanished into the horizon, swallowed by the dunes. Liyana rides beside Qasim, the scroll pulsing in her satchel, the obsidian shard now cracked at its edge. The symbols have changed again, etched in silver, trembling with urgency. They are close. The tomb lies beneath the dunes of Khazar al-Nara, a place spoken of only in riddles and warnings. It is said to house the bones of the first cursed, the origin of the magic that binds them both. No map leads there. Only memory. Only fate. They arrive at dusk. The dunes rise like waves, golden and endless. But beneath one, marked by a single stone carved with a crescent and flame, there is a hollow. Qasim dismounts. He kneels. He speaks a word. The sand parts. Not gently. Violently. A stairway spirals downward, carved from black stone, slick with time. The air that rises is cold. Wet. Wrong. They descend. The tomb is vast. Silent. Alive. The walls pulse with ancient magic. Symbols shimmer, rearranging as they pass. The scroll flares. The shard hums. And the whispers begin. Not voices. Memories. Liyana sees flashes, her mother's eyes, a blade in her hand, a promise broken. Qasim sees fire. A throne. A scream. They reach the chamber. At its center, a sarcophagus. Not stone. Glass. Inside, a figure sleeps. Not dead. Not alive. Bound. The first. The one who cursed the bloodline. The one who chose love over loyalty. The one who paid the price. Liyana steps forward. The glass fogs. Cracks. Shatters. The figure rises. Eyes like molten silver. Skin stitched with symbols. It speaks. You are the last. Liyana trembles. I don't understand. You will. The tomb groans. The walls bleed light. And the curse awakens. Not slowly. All at once. It floods her veins. It sears her bones. It binds her to Qasim. He screams. She falls. The scroll burns. The shard shatters. And the tomb begins to collapse. They run. But not fast enough. The sands rise. The sky darkens. And the first follows. Not to kill. To finish what was begun. They escape into the night. Barely. Broken. Changed. The desert is no longer silent. It sings. Of sacrifice. Of love. Of war. Part 9, The Blade and the Veil. The desert is no longer quiet. It murmurs with memory, trembles with magic, and watches with eyes unseen. Beneath its breath, Liyana and Qasim ride toward the city of Al-Maran, a place carved into cliff and myth, veiled in illusion and guarded by truths too sharp to speak aloud. The scroll is nearly full. Its symbols bleed silver and crimson, the language of fate and sacrifice. The obsidian shard is gone, shattered in the tomb. But something else has taken its place, a mark on Liyana's wrist, shaped like a crescent cleaved by flame. She does not remember how it got there. Only that it burns when Qasim is near. Al-Maran rises from the dunes like a mirage, its towers veiled in silk, its gates guarded by sentinels who do not blink. The city is known for its masks, worn not for beauty, but for protection. Here, truth is dangerous. Here, faces are forbidden. They enter as strangers. Masked. Silent. The streets twist like riddles. Music drips from balconies. Perfume clings to the air like memory. But beneath the beauty, there is tension. Eyes behind veils. Blades behind smiles. They seek the blade of moonlight. A weapon forged in the time before curses. Said to sever fate. Said to kill gods. It lies in the temple of the veil. Hidden. Guarded. Forgotten. They find it at midnight. The temple is carved into the cliffside, its entrance marked by a veil of water that does not wet the skin. Inside, the air is thick with silence. Statues line the walls, each one faceless, each one weeping. At the center, the blade. It floats. Not on a pedestal. In air. Silver. Singing. Liyana reaches for it. The veil parts. And the temple awakens. Not with light. With memory. She sees herself, older, colder, standing over Qasim's body, the blade in her hand. She sees him, kneeling, bleeding, whispering her name. She sees the curse, broken. But the cost. She pulls back. Qasim steps forward. He touches the blade. It flares. And the veil tears. Not the water. The world. A rift opens. Between now and then. Between truth and lie. Between love and loss. They fall. Not far. But deep. Into memory. Into prophecy. Into the moment that will decide everything. They land in a chamber of mirrors. Each one shows a future. Each one shows a choice. Liyana sees herself walking away. She sees herself staying. She sees herself killing him. She sees herself saving him. Qasim sees only her. He reaches for her. She hesitates. The blade hovers. The veil trembles. And the scroll burns. One final mark. A storm. A betrayal. A kiss. They rise. Changed. Bound. And the blade follows. Not in hand. In heart. They leave the temple. The city watches. The desert waits. And the veil between worlds begins to tear. Part 10, The Storm Over the Oasis. The oasis was once a place of peace. Now, it waits for war. Liyana and Qasim arrive beneath a sky swollen with stormlight, the scroll nearly complete, the blade of moonlight hidden beneath her cloak. The oasis of Daran blooms in the heart of the desert, a ring of palms, a pool of silver water, a city built on prophecy and fear. But the air is wrong. Too still. Too quiet. The wind does not speak. It listens. They are met by the council of the oasis, elders cloaked in white, faces veiled, voices like rusted bells. They know who she is. They know what she carries. And they are afraid. You bring the blade, one says. I bring the truth, Liyana replies. Truth is dangerous. So is silence. They offer her sanctuary. They offer Qasim exile. She refuses. He stays. And the storm begins. Not in the sky. In the hearts. The oasis trembles with tension. Whispers bloom like poison. The masked girl from the caravan disappears. The boy who speaks to spirits is found bleeding beneath the palms. The old man vanishes into the dunes. Someone is unraveling them. From within. Qasim grows distant. Haunted. He dreams of fire, of betrayal, of her. Liyana watches him break, and wonders if she must be the one to end him. The scroll reveals its final mark. A choice. A sacrifice. A kiss. She finds him at the edge of the water. His mask is gone. His eyes are gold. "I saw you," he says. "In the mirror. With the blade. I saw you too. Did you kill me? I don't know." He steps closer. The wind rises. The storm breaks. Lightning splits the sky. The oasis erupts. Not with rain. With war. The council attacks. Not with swords. With magic. Old. Dark. Desperate. Liyana draws the blade. It sings. Qasim fights beside her. They bleed. They burn. They break. The masked girl returns. With fire. The boy with spirits rises. With wind. The old man chants. The scroll flares. The curse screams. And the oasis falls. Not to death. To truth. Liyana stands over the last elder. The blade in her hand. Qasim kneels beside her. "You must choose," he says. "To save me. To save yourself." She looks at the blade. She looks at him. She kisses him. And the storm swallows them whole. Part 11, The Price of Destiny. The desert does not weep. It watches. It waits. And when the time comes, it demands its due. Liyana wakes beneath a sky torn by lightning, her cloak soaked in blood and rain, the blade of moonlight still warm in her hand. The oasis is gone, burned, broken, swallowed by the storm. Qasim lies beside her, breathing shallow, his skin marked by the curse that now pulses in both of them. The scroll is nearly silent. Only one symbol remains. A star cleaved by ash. She knows what it means. The final choice. The final cost. They ride through the ruins, past the bodies of the council, past the shattered palms, past the pool that once shimmered with silver. The masked girl follows, her knives drawn. The boy with spirits chants beneath his breath. The old man walks ahead, his eyes closed, his voice low. They are not allies. They are witnesses to what must come. The desert opens before them, flat, endless, waiting. At its center, a stone altar, carved from obsidian, etched with the names of those who chose love over fate and paid the price. Qasim kneels. He is fading. The curse is consuming him. Liyana stands. The blade hums. The scroll burns. The wind rises. And the desert speaks. "You must choose," it says. "To break the curse. To break your heart." She steps forward. The altar flares. The blade lifts. Qasim looks at her. "I'm ready." She is not. But she must be. She raises the blade. The wind screams. The stars dim. And the scroll turns to ash. She hesitates. She lowers the blade. "No," she says. "I choose love." The desert trembles. The altar cracks. The curse roars. And the blade shatters. Not in her hand. In the sky. A rift opens. Light pours through. Not golden. Silver. soft, forgiving. Kasim gasps. The mark on his skin fades. The curse breaks. But the cost? Liyana falls. Not dead. Changed. Bound to the desert. To its memory. To its magic. She becomes its voice. Its guardian. Its flame. Kasim weeps. He kisses her brow. And the wind carries her name. Forever. The masked girl vanishes. The boy with spirits walks into the dunes. The old man sings. And Kasim rides alone. But not empty. Not lost. Not cursed. The desert watches. The stars return. And the story ends. Almost. Part 12, Ashes and Stars. The desert is quiet again. Not empty. Not silent. But still. As if holding its breath. Liyana stands at the edge of the dunes, her cloak torn, her skin marked by magic and memory. The blade of moonlight is gone, shattered in the storm. The scroll is ash. The curse is broken. And Kasim stands beside her, no longer bound, no longer burning, but changed. They are not who they were. They are not who they will be. They are something new. The masked girl watches from the cliffs, her knives sheathed. The boy with spirits hums to the wind. The old man carves symbols into the sand, each one a prayer, each one a promise. The desert listens. It remembers. And it begins again. Liyana walks toward the horizon. Not to flee. To begin. She is no longer hunted. She is no longer haunted. She is the flame. The voice. The guardian. Kasim follows. Not as a prince. Not as a curse. As a man. As a choice. They reach the ruins of Zafira. The city breathes. The market stirs. The shadows whisper. But they are not afraid. They are not alone. They are legend. The people gather. They listen. And Liyana speaks. She tells the story. Of a scroll. Of a blade. Of a love that defied fate. She does not hide the pain. She does not soften the truth. She gives it to them raw. And they rise. Not in rebellion. In hope. The masked girl removes her veil. The boy with spirits dances in the square. The old man weeps. And the stars return. Brighter. Closer. Listening. Liyana stands beneath them. Kasim beside her. And the desert sings. Of ashes. Of stars. Of stories that never end. A wind rises. Soft. Warm. Alive. It carries a whisper. Not of endings. Of beginnings. And somewhere, far beyond the dunes, a new scroll begins to write itself.